The Blue Jays had an opportunity to win the series today and split the season series against the Houston Astros. But I've said it day in, day out. Good pitching and good defense wins ball games. And the Jays had neither of those today as they lose 6-3 to the Astros and drop to 30-27 on the year. They only had 5 hits in the ball game, but after the first 3 innings, really, the motivation to hit really wasn't there for the Blue Jays. And I kind of understand it. And the reason I do, the first batter of the ball game, Jose Altuve gets a 97-mile-an-hour fastball from Steven Matz in the inner half of the plate, and he turns on and drills it out of the ballpark. Just like that, before your team can even touch the plate, you're down 1-0. Putting up a 0 in the first inning is so important. It may not feel important to people watching on TV. Oh, it's still 8 more innings to go, whatever. But to a ball player, when you get a run against you and you literally can't do anything about it and you're already losing, it's just a really hopeless situation because you can't do anything. And then the Jays go quietly in their half of the order, 1, 2, 3. Then the next half inning, McCormick gets a solo shot. It's a hanging changeup right down the middle of the plate at 91 miles an hour. Basically a meatball from Steven Matz, and he crushes it out of the ballpark. 2 home runs in 2 innings, and the Jays are down 2-0 in the top half of the second inning. Bottom half of the second inning, they manufacture a run. Lourdes Gurriel Jr., it's a sacrifice fly. Teoscar Hernandez comes in to score. All right, cut the deficit in half. It's now 2-1. Problem, Matz can't go an inning without giving up a run. In the next half inning, in the top of the third, he gives him an RBI bloop single to Kyle Tucker. Alvarez and Bregman come in to score, but his location was off. He wasn't throwing quality strikes. He was not very good in that inning, and they scored 2. So that one you just got, it's gone, right? Now it's 4-1. See what I'm saying, though? Every time, the first 3 innings of this game, they scored. The first with a solo shot for Jose Altuve. The second one was McCormick. Then in the third inning, you had the 2-run single. How is your offense supposed to get in any sort of groove early in the game? It's not. It can't. And starting pitching is so important. The bullpen has been good as of late. It's been managed weird, as we've talked about quite a bit. But starting pitching is so important. And other than Ryu for the most part and Robbie Ray and Stripling over the last 3 outings, we don't know what we're going to get from our rotation. And for Steven Matz, he's either had a good start or a downright terrible start. He wasn't good in his last outing. He was terrible today. He was fantastic 2 outings ago against the Yankees. You don't know what you're going to get from Steven Matz. His location was all over the place. He couldn't throw strikes, and when he did, they were meatballs. And then we go to the no run score until the top half of the 7th inning where Maldonado scores on an error. Rowdy Tellez. I understand. Being an infielder myself, I understand when a ball gets cued off the end of the bat, that thing spins. And instead of just spinning like this, like a normal baseball, that thing goes like this. Right? It spins like this, and you don't know where this thing is going to kick. And that's exactly what happened to Rowdy Tellez in the play. It kicked up on him. But you got to make that play. The bases are loaded with 2 out. You got to make that play, big man. Instead, they review it. He's safe. And Maldonado reaches, and Yuli Gurriel scores to make it a 5-1 game. But then in the top half of the 8th inning, Gurriel is another RBI single. Bregman comes in. It's a 6-1 game, and it's pretty much over at this point. The offense, as I mentioned, after the nonsense by Matz in the first 3 innings, they had no mojo offensively. Garcia was just dealing. I mean, he really settled in nicely as the innings went along, and his team gave him the lead, and he just started cruising. And the Jays offense couldn't catch up to him. But then in the bottom half of the 8th inning, off of Ryan Stanek, the Blue Jays go out there and they score a couple runs. You got a Teoscar Hernandez, fielder's choice. Simeon comes in to score. Then a Randall Grichuk RBI single. It's a 6-3 game. And you have 2 on and 2 out, tying run at the plate. You can't get anything done. And that's the ball game. I wanted to get through that stuff fairly quick, because there's one thing I wanted to talk about other than Steven Matz. The defense by Randal Grichuk in center field. I think we've all noticed, we've all known, throughout the years that he's a much better right fielder than he is a center fielder, hence why George Springer, when healthy, is the starting center fielder for the Toronto Blue Jays. And today was evident of that. People can yell at Marcus Semien, but as a center fielder, I will go through all three outfield kind of bloopers that him and Semien went out for. But 2 times Grichuk made the play. The other one, he didn't make the play. We'll talk about all 3 right now. The first one, it happens sometimes, right? Where you're both yelling, I got it. You make a little collision, you make the play, it's all right, shake it off, move on, right? Even he is the center fielder. Look, it's a center fielder's ball. Right? Until he calls someone off, Semien must not have heard him. Whether he did call it, I don't know. But it got pretty close to a collision. No matter what, Grichuk makes the play, fine. The next one, Semien clearly backs off, right? The pop-up, Semien kind of backs off to the side, and Grichuk, he can't make the play. I mean, it was, 5 feet in front of him? I don't know if he called it, if Semien was a little wary because he knew what happened in a couple innings prior, or whatever the case may be. That ball's got to get caught. Whether that's Semien being a maniac and calling him off like crazy, or that's Grichuk being a center fielder, taking charge as he should, because that is the center fielder's ball. Anything over the second baseman or the shortstop's head, it is the outfielder's ball, because it's much easier to run in on a ball than run back. That is Randal Grichuk's ball, and he did not make the play there. The third one is my problem. The third one is where I have an issue. Marcus Semien is camped under this ball, camped underneath it. And you look right to the right of him, Teoscar Hernandez is standing there basically like this because it's his ball, he's underneath it, he's probably called it, you're good. In comes Randal Grichuk, booking it in from center, collides with him, Grichuk somehow makes the play. And Semien ain't pleased. And honestly, I don't blame him. Because if you're going to call someone off, you make the play. But if you're camping underneath the ball, just let the guy catch the damn ball. It's just, that right there shows me that Randal Grichuk is a right fielder, not a center fielder. He's made some great plays in center. He's made some fantastic plays in center. But he's a much better right fielder than a center fielder. And we have known that forever. We've just kind of been hiding it. But I think today, it really came out of its shell. As a center fielder, those are your balls until the second baseman calls you off, right? As a second baseman myself, I've played it since I was a little guy. If you have a pop-up behind you, what do? You run back, you look for the ball, and you wait. You wait to hear for an outfielder to call you off, or else it's your ball. Because, no one's calling from the outfield. You got to find a way to make that play. You're not going to turn around and look at the outfielder saying what's going on. You got to look at the ball as you're running backwards. As a center fielder, you're running in. You can see the guy in your peripheral vision. So you're not worried about that. That is Grichuk's ball. All of those are Grichuk's ball, except for the one that Semien's literally camped underneath it. But those plays, 2 of them were made, 1 was not. You got to make all those plays. Defense and pitching wins championships. Not just ball games, championships. And we'll get back to Steven Matz in a second here, but I just had to bring up the defense because we saw great defense yesterday. Very good defense yesterday. Abysmal in Game 1 and not great in Game 3. They got to find a way to solidify this and make something work here because this has been ugly over the last few games, all right? The team only had 5 hits in the ball game, and like I said, they had no motivation to hit. Nobody had a multi-hit game today. I didn't write any names down because no one really stood out. And that's it for the offense. For the pitching side of things, like I said, Steven Matz went 4 1/3, allowed 8 hits, 4 runs, 3 strikeouts, and walked 4. That awful. Wasn't throwing strikes. He walked 4 over 4 1/3. He gave him 8 hits and 4 runs over 4 1/3. That is not good at all. That is not going to cut it against a really good Astros team. And a guy like the starting pitcher for the Astros today, who's been dealing, he's a young guy, and he is riding high right now because he's pitching extremely well in his young career. You can't give him a lead early on like that. You got to make him pitch in a tie ball game, put the pressure on the kid, but you didn't. You know, and Anthony Castro did a great job coming out of the pen, went an inning and 2/3, 2 strikeouts and a walk. Tim Mays went 2/3 an inning, allowed a couple bloopers, a run scored. It was not an earned run. And Carl Edwards Jr., because this is the run, I think this is the run that came in to score, went two-thirds of an inning, walked the batter, ended up walking the bases loaded, and got the ground ball to Rowdy Tellez, but he boots it, and they score the run, hence the Tim Mays run. And it was just an ugly game all around, guys. Joel Payamps went out there, went an inning and 2/3, allowed a couple hits, 1 run, 2 strikeouts, and a walk. And Tyler Chatwood went out there and didn't allow 6 hits and 5 runs, faced 1 guy and struck him out. So good job for Tyler Chatwood going out there and just getting it out. That's all we ask right now of him. It's just to get back in the mojo. But I agree with a lot of people online, and I agree with a lot of people that were on the Instagram Live today. You know, we're all expecting guys like Joel Payamps and Anthony Castro and even Tyler Chatwood to be your 8th inning guy to 7th inning guy in a 1-run ball game. These guys have never pitched in these situations, but because they're pitching well this year, they're instantly that. Do the Blue Jays need to look at a reliever at the trade deadline or anytime soon, or what do you guys think? I don't know. I'm not really looking trade-wise at all right now, just for the fact of we're not at the All-Star break yet, so I'm not even thinking about trading and everything, but the way this bullpen looks right now, without guys like, you know, you look at guys that are injured and not playing this year, guys like, you know, Kirby Yates, who was penciled in as your closer to start this season. You know, David Phelps, who was pitching unbelievable to start the season. He's done for the year. You have Merriweather, who there's been basically no update about. He might have re-aggravated something, but we haven't seen the guy pitch in at least a month. You know, Thomas Hatch hasn't pitched in so long. Baraki has been out for a while, and he seems to be having a little setback as well. So your big name guys, signings, you know, and core guys, they're not here. They're not healthy. So you're trying to patch things together with a Joel Payamps, a Carl Edwards Jr., and Anthony Castro, who's been great, but he's not used to these situations, and then even Tyler Chatwood for that matter. So the bullpen has been great this year, but you're starting to see the holes now. And it doesn't get any easier for this Blue Jays team because obviously they have an off day tomorrow, and they head to Chicago to take on the White Sox, the best team in the American League record-wise as of right now when I'm speaking to you. It's an 8-10 first pitch in Game 1. It's Robbie Ray versus Carlos Rodon, a guy with an ERA of under 2 who threw a no-hitter this year. What do we expect there? I don't know. It's a Tuesday night ball game in Chicago. A really good ball team. Look, the Jays they're playing some very good baseball teams. You had the White Sox, and you had the Red Sox, and you had the Yankees, and you had the Astros. Like, you're playing some really good teams, but these are measuring stick games. And I think we are seeing now the holes on this roster. And it's some starting pitching help would be great because you're banking on reclamation projects to work. And bullpen arms that are actually good bullpen arms and not just guys that you hope and pray can find something. That's just my take on all that, guys. I want to get your guys' thoughts in the comments below, all right? So you know what, guys? That is going to do it for this one. If you enjoyed the video and did not enjoy the ball game, if you're a Jays fan, but if you're an Astros fan, you love the game today, smack the like button. Do appreciate that. Hit the subscribe button if you guys have not done so already. Comment down below your thoughts on the video, your thoughts on the game. What'd you like, what'd you not like from today's game today? Do you agree with my statement on the whole Randall Grichuk and Simeon situations, plural, that happened today? Do you agree with the Rowdy Tellez situation that I talked about earlier in the video? Let me know in the comments below. Twitter is down below for myself. Follow, send me a DM to that great stuff. The Instagram link is down below, so follow up there if you have not done so already. And I will talk to you guys Leafs edition. Yeah, you heard me. For the last time until draft, well, probably not even draft. Free agency, trade, signings, all this great stuff because I don't know what the hell to talk about when it comes to the Toronto Maple Leafs because they continuously heartbreak us year in, year out. Monday, I'll be doing the season review, off-season preview for the Toronto Maple Leafs, and as for the Toronto Blue Jays, Game 1 of their set against the Chicago White Sox goes on Tuesday night, 8-10, first pitch in Chicago. Robbie Ray, Carlos Rodon is the pitching matchup there in Game 1, or at least it's a scheduled pitching matchup as of right now. Thank you guys so much for listening and watching. Hope you enjoyed the video. We'll talk to you guys then.